Thank you, Debbie. Good evening. I am Bruce Turnbull. I'm one of the volunteer leaders in Jews United for Justice, and I just want to spend a few minutes going through our tax situation, both in general and in relation to the other counties and jurisdictions in our region. First, where do we get our revenue? Well, almost 46% of our total revenue in Montgomery County comes through property taxes. Another 41% comes through the income tax that is levied. And then there are a number of smaller taxes and fees that make up the rest of it. But as you can see, those two tax sources form the overwhelming majority of revenue for Montgomery County. And from all of this, we need to pay for all of the things that people value and that are important and that support our citizens. We have to pay for our school system, comes out of all of this money, our fire department, our police force, our aid to people who need it for housing or COVID relief funding. All of that comes from this revenue, and then there's some money that comes from the federal government, the state government, to supplement the taxes. But basically, the revenues go to support all of those things that are so very important to Montgomery County. So now, how do we compare? Our commercial property taxes in Montgomery County are the lowest in the region. As you can see, they're substantially below DC and Fairfax County, and they're below other counties in Maryland, Prince George's and Howard, and below Arlington, which is the closest. So our commercial properties are taxed at a low rate comparatively. Our homeowners are also taxed at a lower rate than other jurisdictions in Maryland. As you can see from this slide, Prince George's has the highest, and then Charles and Howard, and then Frederick, and then Montgomery County. And you'll see that Montgomery County's varies sort of, it's the bottom line, the yellow line. It goes down, goes flat, goes up, goes down, goes up. And that's a result of the way our property tax system is set up. And you'll hear more about that later, but it's important to keep in mind that sort of that curve that keeps going down and then up and down. And if Proposition B were to pass, it would always go down. So next. Now, how do we compare overall on our tax burden with other jurisdictions in the region? Our tax burden is in the middle of the pack if you make $75,000 a year in income versus other areas. You see we have 10.82% tax burden compared to Fairfax County, 10.98, Prince George's, 12.93, and so on, the rest of the jurisdiction. DC is lower, but it also gets a substantial amount of money from the federal government. Next. And at $150,000 in income, it's even lower. We're at 10.41% versus Fairfax at 10.68, and some other jurisdictions in Virginia at over 11%. And even Prince George's County is at 11.92%. So our tax burden at either the $75,000 or $150,000 income level is low compared to other jurisdictions. Next. Now, our ability to raise taxes is very restricted. Under state law, Montgomery County cannot raise our income tax above 3.2%, which is the current rate. We also are required to tax at a flat rate, so 3.2% across the board, which is a progressive way to tax income. Further, corporations and commercial properties, whether owned by corporations or not, pay the same property tax rate as homeowners. So that rate that you saw for commercial property is the same rate as homeowners pay. Also, under the county charter, the total or countywide property tax revenue cannot exceed the rate of inflation without a unanimous vote of the county council. So it's very hard to raise, well, we cannot raise the income tax, and it's very hard to raise the property tax. And that's, all of this is sort of leading us into the next discussion of the ballot questions related to property taxes.